Oh, the weather outside is frightful.
But inside is so delightful.
It's Christmas in July.
Season 5.
Let's review.
Let's review
Let's review.
Bum.
Bum.
That's right, folks. It's season 5 of Christmas in July because Dragon and I are crazy people.
Woo!
So, in case you guys don't know, Christmas in July has been our tradition for the past 5 years. It kind of sprung off from a conversation we were having about the block that Cartoon Network used to run in July of the same name. And we just like that idea. And we were like, you know what? I like kind of like the halfway Christmas thing. And I gotta tell you, Dragon, I gotta tell you, at this point in my life, 5 years into Christmas in July, sitting down to watch the episode we're about to watch, it felt right. It felt so at home. You know what I mean? It felt like cozying up with an old friend again. I don't know, like I'm really in the holiday spirits, Dragon. It's funny. It's like you and I are kind of essentially crafting our own holiday for ourselves, and that's why we're crazy people. But I digress.
Well, it works for Hallmark. It can work for us.
I just want a summer ween, Dragon. That's all I want. Just give me summer ween. But Dragon, what are we reviewing for our opening segment tonight?
Folks, we're reviewing something very special, very classic. We're reviewing something from the good old black and white days of television. We're talking 1955 goodness here, folks, for season 5.
Are
We're
you
talking.
rushing or are you dragging?
Well, last time we did that, it was delightful. So we thought we'd do it again with the Honeymooners.
There was another I Love Lucy Christmas special.
Yes, so we're talking the Honeymooners.
Yes. So, Dragon, believe it or not, this is my very, very first time ever watching the Honeymooners. What?
Image Tiki.
Oh, yes. Sorry. Right. First season we're using images, folks.
Yes, finally.
All right.
Yes.
So, believe it or not, Dragon, this is the first time I've ever seen the Honeymooners.
Really?
Yeah. And my first impression of it is like I always knew that the Flintstones was based off of it, but holy crap, this is the Flintstones.
Essentially, yes. The Flintstones is kind of the
like
more
this
palatable.
is the Flintstones, like down to the voices, down to the mannerisms, down to the characterization. I mean, wow, Dragon, it kind of blew my mind just how similar all the voices are, especially Art Carney and Jackie Gleason. They are so similar to Fred and Barney. It's almost creepy. It's almost like, oh my god, this is surreal. This is like I'm living in some sort of like weird like alternate universe where the Flintstones wasn't a cartoon, except I know it was a cartoon and this inspired the Flintstones. But still, I digress. You know, it's one of those pop culture things that I always knew that the Flintstones and the Honeymooners were connected, but I had no idea it was like the DNA ran so thick between the two of them.
Yeah, well, actually, the reason I picked the Honeymooners this time around was I had watched it this past Christmas. So it was instructed, hey, watch this, check it out. And I watched. It's like, oh my god, this was delightful. And also another reason we picked this out because this is kind of a we always love to leave some little breadcrumbs, kind of our little mistletoe red balls that kind of lead a path for us here, a little breadcrumb trail. This is actually going to foreshadow one of our big pitches this year.
Yes.
It was kind of something that we say a lot about one of the shows that we're going to be kind of making a pitch for, and some people might know about this. You actually have anticipation for this one this year, so it's going to be interesting. But more on that later. So I guess a little background about the Honeymooners. So the Honeymooners, of course, famously the inspiration, if not a large part of the inspiration for the Flintstones. Honeymooners is Jackie Gleason's baby. Jackie Gleason, of course, wondrous comedian, nicknamed the Great One for a reason, folks. There's actually this excellent biopic. It's on YouTube. You can find it really easily. It's called Gleason. It's a TV movie. It's really good, really excellently made. It was a passion project by Brad Garrett. He didn't make it, but I mean he was in it. He played Jackie Gleason himself, and he really campaigned for the role. He was a lifelong fan of the guy, and he comes alive. I don't know how much of it is kind of that sort of that Hallmark exaggeration, let's say. But I mean, for the most part, it seems on the money.
Dragon, the thing I remember the most about like that era of movies, like I remember the Three Stooges movie, and that was just the most melodramatic shit I've ever seen.
That's the thing. I mean, I want to give this movie the benefit of the doubt because I really love it, and Brad Garrett is amazing in it. He's phenomenal, and I
I mean,
love
honestly, Brad Garrett alone sells it for me.
I mean, seriously, I highly if you like this, you're gonna love that because I won't say what it is, but the ending of Gleason is my favorite part. It's like it's a love letter to the Honeymooners. It's like the one of the most glorious love letters to the Honeymooners, and Jackie Gleason, the man, is how that movie ends. And Brad Garrett, he sells it all without saying a word. While of course there is basically, it's like we have the Honeymooners before us, but you just gotta watch it to see what I'm talking about here, folks. Just the structure of it's really good. And basically, the stuff up front, you have to wonder how much of this is melodrama versus artistic license. And of course, it's for you to make it at your own discretion. So the gist of it, without just saying, "Hey, watch that movie," which essentially all your answers be, all your questions would be answered if you watch that. But the gist of it is the Honeymooners started as kind of a sketch, a skit, and just to appease kind of our some of our comedy betters at Just Giggle It, just to specify. It is actually a skit because it was you performed live and just kind of as kind of part of a variety show. It's not just like you watch sketches on the internet. Skits were the things that were put on in front of live audiences just to appease kind of the Joshua Thomas.
Pull us out on that.
No. I'm just saying Joshua Thomas really specified the distinction of comedy, how he kind of felt about the matter. I want to show some due respect that that man was absolutely right, and this is the distinction in real life, folks. So essentially, the Honeymooners started off as Jackie Gleason famously had this variety show called the Cavalcade of Comedy. If not, it was like the Colgate Comedy Hour. Yes, and again, that's where it came from.
Yeah, that's funny.
So again, they're pulling from good stock on that one. So the point is, Jack Gleason, he had the Cavalcade of Comedy, which he either regularly hosted or he started. I can't quite recall. I just know his face is all over it. Therefore, it was kind of everyone associated with Jackie Gleason. He did these skits called The Honeymooners, which is a real personal story for him. And as the movie will kind of tell you, Tiki, Jackie Gleason really pulled at the core. Again, I don't know how much of it's melodrama, but at its deepest core is that Jackie Gleason, he grew up in a family that really wasn't rich. His parents were very working class. They were kind of making paycheck to paycheck, trying to get by. They would fight a lot, but at the end of the day, there was a lot of love there. There was love at the core of it, but again, a lot of yelling, and Jackie Gleason saw the comedy in that. So he's pulling a lot from his personal life, and he put his heart and soul into the Honeymooners. And
this is definitely kind of like the blue collar I Love Lucy in a way.
Essentially, yes. And what he did is, the Honeymooners, it got a lot of popularity. It was really, it was as like a segment within a greater show. And Gleason, he was developing a whole lot of pull in Hollywood, and this was a very untested thing, in the 50s. Where again, I think I can't recall when I Love Lucy started. I know it was in the 50s. I don't know if it was.
It was definitely the 50s. I don't know if it was before or after Honeymooners.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know because then I'm trying to think of when the Honeymooners premise started. Versus
really quick if you want.
Well, sure. See, give me a year on I Love Lucy.
Okay.
The point is, regardless, like even so, I don't know if the Honeymooners concept was if the skits predate I Love Lucy anyway. So the point is, it was kind of a rarely tested thing of kind of taking kind of a skit and kind of making
one was I Love Lucy.
Okay, so I Love Lucy came before, and basically this was like taking something that was a skit and turning it into an I Love Lucy type show, which again was still kind of. It was like taking something. Okay, this is good, like a variety show act. You can't make this into like a half hour. People aren't going to sit around for like half an hour through commercials and everything just to see something they can get for basically have seen in chunks and installments in a greater show. That's not getting their bang for their buck. And Gleason with his charm,
the Simpsons situation almost.
Essentially, and you don't get like a Simpsons scenario without this in the first place, where Gleason, with all his pull, and Gleason was a guy who was overconfident in the best of ways. This guy knew comedy, and he stuck to his guns. Like he was like the fiercest negotiator. Again, he was a pool player, and it really shows in how he negotiated businesses. And this guy had all the he was the ultimate pool hustler. That's what Gleason was. He actually plays pool in like movies, like I believe it was. God, I'm trying to think. Was it Cool Hand Luke? I think it was Cool Hand Luke. Yeah. So basically, we have something called the Classic 39s, and there are 39 episodes of The Honeymooners. So famously, a lot of people think, oh my God, all those seasons of The Honeymooners. What they're really thinking of is, okay, there are a bunch of skits of The Honeymooners in various episodes of the Cavalcade of Comedy and other variety shows. But You only had like one big season of television of all the Honeymooner episodes. They kept getting,
This is definitely a show I want to go back and marathon because this gives me the same sort of nostalgic, kind of warm and fuzzy comfort food kind of feeling that I Love Lucy does, and also
absolutely.
the Andy Griffith Show, which I love as well.
And you see the big hook, Tiki, very simply. And again, during the show, from what I understand, I haven't seen every episode, so forgive me if I'm a little sketchy on this, but from what I understand, for the most part, it was very much like a one set show. As in the set that we had before us, the living room, kind of the living room slash dining room. It was like the main set you'd have. It's very kind of All in the Family esque, because then you'd have that one main set, and rarely would they go like Ralph's day job or like to another apartment. But again, like eight to nine times out of 10, you'd be on this set, and all the events would unfold before you, which is very impressive, and of course, very kind of staged to the screen. All right, so again, that's basically this is one of 39 episodes. That again, I believe this is, I think it was episode 13. It was one of the kind of one of the early episodes, and of course around the holidays. And I'm not sure if they didn't. They may have done another holiday episode within the 39, but this is definitely the big standout one, because this one actually we'll get to when we get to it. I'll save that for later. So this one does something really different than the rest of the episodes in a really cool.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, yeah,
absolutely. So that all that said, so the point is, Honeymooners, it's kind of a mecca of classic television, classic sketch comedy on television. So.
Okay, let's just jump right into it. So, Dragon, like I said, as soon as I saw Alice wrapping the present and the tree in the background and the delightful holiday music, I was like, it's good to be back. It's good to be back doing Christmas in July. Like, I'm sure by the end of this whole process, I'm going to hate Christmas in July. That's how it always works, Dragon. The first few of them, I'm like, oh, this is nice. And then by the end, I'm like, oh my God, fuck Christmas.
For every
I'm sure that's how it'll be.
But for every I Love Lucy, there's an Inspector Gadget Saves Christmas.
Yes, that is true. That is true. But I don't know. I think we have a little bit better of a success ratio than that.
We do.
I would say maybe like a quarter of them turn out to be Inspector Gadgets.
Yeah, nothing against Inspector Gadget, the character, just that really bad Christmas episode.
Oh, it was awful. And also, everything against Everybody Loves Raymond. Fuck that show.
Man, I wouldn't say that, because remember what happened last time? We we mentioned him.
Yeah, no, I don't care. Raymond can come after me.
Nothing against Brad Garrett there. We love him.
Nothing against Ray Romano either, but just it's everything against CBS. I digress.
Okay, I think we're getting off track talking about Ray Romano here. Anyway, so Alice is wrapping Ralph's Christmas gift, and she attempts to hide it. As she's doing that, Trixie drops by, kind of our Betty Rubble of the Honeymooners here.
Yeah, I gotta say, I didn't. That's the one thing about this episode, is that Trixie's barely in it, so I didn't really get a good grasp on her personality. But I mean, I can probably assume it's pretty much like Betty.
To be fair, Betty was just kind of like, she was the friend. She really didn't have that much of a character in the grand scheme of the Flintstones. She was just kind of like, she was the nice friend, neighbor lady friend.
You're wrong, Dragon. You know what Betty's role was?
What was her role, Tiki?
She was the sexy one of the two.
Well, Wilma had it going on. I mean, come on.
No, but I'm saying she was the, Wilma was cute. Betty was hot.
Okay,
right. That's the differentiation.
I'm trying to remember which one. I think Ray Delisle may have voiced Betty once. I might have to agree with you on that. But so I'm thinking of that Flintstones on the Rocks
came along and just ruined everything.
But you remember that the Flintstones on the Rocks, that was the one that Seth MacFarlane was involved with. And
I love Flintstones on the Rocks. We should talk about that sometime.
One of these days, absolutely. Hey, speaking of one of these days, Tiki, anyway, getting back on point. So, let's see. So Trixie, she's asking, what's going on?
Wouldn't it be funny if one of these days turned out to be a Mandela effect?
No, it's in the show. It's like
I'm just saying, like, one day it comes out, like, would you believe me about the Mandela effect then, if that happened, Dragon?
You mean if it happened with this show?
Yeah, if it came out like, hey, Dragon, it turns out that Jackie Gleason never says one of these days, Alice, on the Honeymooners, and you like Google it and you can't find it anywhere. And Dragon, I'm still hung up about that I Love Lucy thing, all right? Years later, I'm still hung up about it.
Okay, look, I'll give you one that might actually be a Mandela effect, all right? I'll give you one.
All
Call it an
right.
early, call it a July Christmas present, whatever. All right. There is a chance that there's been a big misnomer in the history of the Honeymooners in that, one of these days, pow, right in the kisser, versus one of these days, right to the moon.
Oh,
There's a
okay,
there
okay.
is a chance that people might have basically have like the whole. It's like they basically have mixed in right to the moon instead of pow right in the kisser to kind of outset the whole
I
like
thought that they were two different catchphrases.
that's what I'm saying. There's an absolute that I mean they are we perceive them as two different catchphrases, but there's a chance the moon thing could have been overlaid on top of "pow right in the kisser" because aside from anyway, we're drifting down rabbit holes here. Let's
Yes, we
get back
are.
on
Yes, we
point.
totally are.
Okay, let's see where were we? Oh yes, so Trix is asking what's going on, and Alice explains that she and Ralph they exchange gifts Christmas morning. They make sure she hides the gift so they don't find it, and so they can exchange it Christmas morning, put it under the tree later on, so on and so forth. So Trixie's telling Alice what Ed Norton got her
Yeah,
this holiday season.
tell me, Dragon. Tell me, what did Ed Norton get? This you can imagine my reaction, right?
So, folks, of course, we're going to season 5 here, and hopefully, we're not getting stale like season 5 of Green Arrow. But, folks, we have a little tradition here. We love tracking our ridiculous kind of holiday episode products here, and of course, what we have this fine holiday season is the Napoleon orange juice squeezer.
Oh my god. Yes, yes, yes. Let's do it. Let's do it.
So before we've had tubaphone, that's spelled T-U-B. In this case, we got from Keenan and Kel the tubaphone, and now we have the Napoleon orange juice squeezer, which essentially you tell the folks how it works.
I mean, you basically it just you put the orange in his head and it squirts the juice out his ears. Simple as
Yep,
that.
absolutely.
And
Coming to
Edward Norton, Dragon Academy Award winner Edward Norton, is is dying for her to try it out. So Alice is I'm sorry, I'm gonna try and tone down the Edward Norton jokes, but I make no promises, all right? Anyway, so point is Alice gives her a couple oranges, sends her on her way.
which means it's like a Sicilian message that you're gonna die if we go by the
Pretty
logic
much,
of the
pretty much.
Godfather. Oh no, I'm kidding. So she tries hiding the gift, and she ends up hiding it under the fridge. The old '50s fridge, by the way, which if I'm right, and I could be absolutely wrong here, but I think the idea is like they're in a low rent, they're kind of in like a low rent place. Basically as nice as like a working man could afford at the time. And we usually see like fridges like in a nice home and things, but I can't. I think it might be like a wooden cabinet that you have like a lot of ice in, and that's why we have the pan at the bottom to catch the drippage. And I think that's what the logic was in the '50s. I don't know if there was like, because I know eventually they got like the refrigerators, because like think about Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skulls for a moment. There, of course, we had fridges.
We need the narrator from the Carousel of Progress. He can clear this up.
Well, the point is, I don't know if it's like an older, if it's like an older model of fridge, because Ralph wouldn't be able to afford like a current top of the line lead model of fridge, but I can't quite recall. I don't know what the logic was, but the point is, even if it is electronic, then it might drip, so that's why they have the pan at the bottom of it. Again, it's my '50s logic, so again, something we'll do afterwards, I suppose. Anyway, so she ends up hiding it under the fridge, like pulls out the little pan that catches the drippage and hides it like right behind that thing. So Ralph sneaks in to hide her gift after she has left the room, and he's just sneaking around. He tries like all the ridiculous places she was hiding it, like tries the elven pheromone. Nah, I can't hide there. Doing all of this with again, this though, I just love how we get to see that I love the love story between Alice and Ralph, because these two people really deserve each other, and they're very simpatico. Again, they're at each other's throats a lot of the time, but and this is the message what Gleason was trying to get across, is that these two people are going to yell at each other, be hilarious, but at the end of the day, there is a sweetness to it in that they think just alike. Ain't that cute?
Dragon, the end of the episode, I mean, I will get to it, but it might be one of the most goddamn heartwarming things we've seen in Christmas in July this side of out.
It is, yeah, and I agree. I fully agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you.
All right.
So let's see. Okay, let's see. So again, basically, a little married couple detail. They have the same thought process after all these years. So then he hides it in the exact same spot, and as he's doing that, Alice walks in. He's caught by Alice, and they both. And then this is adorable. They both kind of laugh off the novelty of, "Oh, that's right. You're a now you caught me hiding your present, Alice. Oh, Ralph, that's
Like I
so
said,
fun."
Dragon, like it's not like I've never heard this character before in pop culture, right? It's not like I've never seen any clips. But as soon as Jackie Gleason started talking, I was thrown through a loop. I was like, oh man, that's not just an imitation of Fred Flintstone. That is Fred Flintstone. Right.
Because
Obviously, I know that Fred Flintstone's an imitation of him, but
Because this is a comedy classic, and forgive me, I keep feeling compelled to bring up Just Giggle It here because there are two bits I want to mention real quick. Because this occurs to me, and again, it's one. I want to mention that it really struck me on a rewatch here that Alice from the Honeymooners looks a little like Piper Henson.
oh god.
Just a little. I've been saying it recently. I can imagine like Piper Henson just puts on a little wig. It's her. And of course, I continually have said, Harley, the new Harley Quinn, Nicole Dubois, her take on Harley Quinn is kind of a mixture of Tara Strong and Alice from the Honeymooners. And Tiki, I swear to you, if you see that Gleason movie, you will see exactly what I'm talking about.
All
But
right, all right.
got a bit of that here, a little scaled back than what
Also, I don't know. There's a little bit of Gleason and Poncio.
Oh, absolutely. And speaking of again, again, Gleason's like the highest praise in the comedy world, I would imagine. Gleason, of course, he has that. The man moves like a ballerina in the best ways. The man has complete control, physical control over his body. Like he knows, like the man can glide and he can move so fast despite like kind of the heft. I mean, Gleason, he's an artist of kind of physical comedy. Again, one of his he loved the work of Charlie Chaplin. I think he did kind of embody a little bit of that in his performance. So okay, so after they laugh it off. Oh, we hit in the same spot. And Gleason's here saying, "Oh yeah, we're look at us, we're hiding our gifts so gleefully like kids." And of course, a bit of pause goes by saying, "Oh, we're not children." And of course, well, you get me. Again, just like the kid. He's a big kid. That's what Ralph Cramden is. He's a big.
I'm pretty
kid.
sure that delivery right there was when I first got into the Fred Flintstone thing. The whole "What are you getting me?"
So again, Alice is saying, "No, tomorrow. You know our tradition. We'll do it tomorrow." And now she has to find they have to find new hiding spots. Says, "What? You don't have to find a new hiding spot for my gift. I'm not a baby. I can wait." Alice again being as clever as she is here. Alice played by the wonderful Audrey Meadows. There were two Alices famously in the Honeymooners, and Audrey Meadows is the one they got for the show. In the skits, you had someone else.
Okay.
And Audrey Meadows, like she owned that role, Tegan, and she is that role, I think. So Audrey Meadows, she says, "Okay," and she says she's going to Trixie's, and so she basically has this great again. This is a classic Honeymooners thing where she'll be smarter than Ralph, and she'll like kind of fake him out like this. So she pretends to leave, like she leaves and like closes the door and just waits for him. And this is the one time. This is the great moment of physical comedy here, where Gleason he barrels to the gift so gleefully. No pun
Oh yeah.
intended.
Oh yeah.
So Gleason-y, I guess. And and then of course then we have Alice's line there, just like I guess
Mommy will just have to hide your present somewhere else.
catching him. And of course, once she catches him, here's what Gleason does best. Because when he gets up, he gets so full of energy. He knows just when to stop because he gets the present. He leans up as she kind of softly makes her way to him, most silently. He turns around and gets up, and he's just staring her right in the face, and he just stops in his tracks. And that's the Gleason charm right there. It's like he's able to stop going that fast and at that momentum. He just stops. All right, let's see. So then, of course, they talk about trust. I can't believe.
Yeah, I love he brings up like, oh, you want to talk about trust? You're the one who can't be trusted.
You said you were going upstairs. So getting to the next scene. So Ralph begins to trim the tree by throwing tinsel and like in the icicles and everything on the tree. Yes, true.
Trope.
Of course, folks, we like to keep track of our tropes and such here. So far, we've had the old hide in the present gag.
Yes. Traditions.
Yep, hide in the present traditions. Friend dropping by for the holidays, kind of putting the plot into play. The whole like, what are you doing? What did he get you? All that stuff.
All right.
Yeah, so trimming the tree. So as Ralph is kind of like throwing tinsel on the tree, Trixie is she's asking for. She's like, I believe she yells. I forget what floor they're on. They're either up a floor or down a floor.
I think they're up a floor.
She said going upstairs, right? So
Yeah,
you'd assume. Anyway, so Trixie yells down, "Hey, can I borrow an onion?" Says, "Oh, sure." And
What does he think this is? A grocery store?
great line, and true. Like we need an excuse for our neighbors to drop by all the time. Therefore, okay, so let's borrow food all the time. It's kind of a Kramer thing, but it's kind of Kramer before Kramer, not Kramer versus Kramer. Kramer before Kramer.
No, Kramer before Kramer is the prequel to Kramer versus Kramer. And the funny thing is that movie actually stars Cosmo Kramer somehow. But yeah, it's still a prequel to Kramer versus Kramer.
I just want a Looper version with a version of Looper with all Kramers.
Oh god. Anyways.
We could have Kenny Kramer, the actual inspiration for the real Kramer.
All right.
Anyway, okay, sorry, falling down a rabbit hole, folks. Okay, so Ralph. Let's see. Ralph makes a. So Ralph and Alice, they kind of make they make a kind of a trustful truce, if you will. Says, "All right, I'll tell you." Says, "You don't. I can't believe you don't trust me." "Oh, I trust you, Ralph. I'll fine. I'll tell you where your present is. It's behind the hat box in the closet." Of course, as she's like making with the onion here, she just listens to you. Off screen again, Tiki. I love it's all off screen here. Again, they're using this on set, and they're getting such mind because again, Tiki, it paints such a picture in the comedy, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely.
He goes there, and you know exactly. You can picture in your mind exactly what he's doing. He's run to the closet and mousetrap.
Oh god, Dragon, have I ever told you I have a crippling fear of mousetraps?
Really?
I don't know why. Basically, I'm pretty sure the first Jackass movie there was a stunt that involved mousetraps. And ever since then, I was like, I don't want to be anywhere near a mousetrap when it goes off.
You take the easy solution is glue traps. That's how you avoid that fear entirely.
Like I'm just saying, like I have a fear that like I'm gonna be like setting up. I know I hear you on the glue traps thing, but with the mousetraps, I have a fear that I'll be like setting up the mousetrap and then it'll like snap on me. I don't know. Anyways,
sounds quite painful. So, so Ralph, to get back at his wife, who's now left for the whole onion thing, Ralph puts the very same mousetrap. He resets it and he puts it where his gift is for Alice to get revenge on Alice. It's like right in front of where the gift is. So when she would reach to get it, like go. Snap.
Very mean-spirited, by the way, but I guess Alice did it to him first.
She started it. It's only fair. Yeah. So as this happens, who drops by?
Edward Norton.
Okay, come on, do we for Ed Norton? Let's make it familiar.
Okay, Ed Norton is still Ed Norton, Dragon. I call Edward Norton Ed Norton more than I call him Edward Norton.
I'm just saying, look, if you want to draw your parallel, but at least say the name right so we're not stretching to make it.
Ed Norton comes by and he's dropped in his Boy Scout uniform from Moonrise Kingdom.
Okay, now we're getting a little off base here. So Ed Norton, played by the wonderful Art Carney.
He's the neo-Nazi from American History X. Who? Oh, hey there, Ralph. No, I won't go there.
So I'm just going to let the flies buzz away from that
look, one. Ralph, it's Oscar Schindler.
Oh, yeah, that is such a reach for. Come on, yeah. Okay, we can't just go to Oscar Schindler every time we hit a lull, Tiki.
All right.
Okay, let's see. So we have this cute gag of them exchanging gifts, which I thought was really nice. How Ed is bringing by Ralph's gift, and he says, "What's they got behind your gift?" "Oh, it's behind your back. It's a gift." He says, "Why aren't you going to give it to me?" "Well, don't you have anything for me?" And he says, "Yes." And then basically they exchange gifts in very similar boxes, like little thin boxes, ideally that would hold a tie. He says, and Ralph's like putting two and two together, saying, "I bet we got." I see we got each other ties, right? He says, no. And he's getting all excited from it. Wait, you got me something other than a tie? What'd you get me? Spats.
Clear this up, Dragon. I have no idea what the hell spats
How the heck do you not know what spats are? Okay.
I don't know, dude. I'm not a fashion guy. Okay,
sorry. Spats, Tiki. They're the... You know when you see a tap dancer, when you see the Joker's shoes in Batman the Animated Series, remember the white... Sure. They're the white things that go on top of the shoes. It's the white cloth thing you put the shoe into. It's like a covering for the shoe.
All right. excuse me for not knowing the word for
Oh
that.
no, it's fine. Even like the Fairly Odd Parents episode, making fun of my spats, punk. Yeah, the whole
Okay.
it's fine. The point is spats, like things for the shoes. So so let's see. So then he says, "Well, why'd you give me spats?" Well, Ralph, you know, it's hard to you're hard to shop for because what do you get for the guy who has everything? Of course, famously, Ralph Grant, a guy who does not have everything.
And also, when he mentions that, I think of the Superman episode, or I'm sorry, it was a Justice League episode, right?
Yeah, but it's based on a Superman story.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just tell you, such was kind of I know it's played for comedy, and of course the comedy does land, but I do love we have like a sweet and ironic notion here that Ed Norton, he's simple-minded, but you know the guy he sees life in such a nice way, and the fact that he views his buddy Ralph Cram as a guy who has everything, and maybe on some level Ralph has everything he needs, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's kind of like he loves Ralph has a happy life, and if he just saw the way things Ed Norton did, maybe he'd enjoy life more. Who knows? Therapy. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, let's see. And the point says, "Oh, I know it came from the heart," and it says, "No, it came from the Fat Man shop." So, you want to take us through some of this?
Yeah, sure. So Norton is asking about what Alice got him, and he said, "We don't exchange gifts until tomorrow. She's got some kind of fetish." Gotta tell you, Dragon, very, very, very wrong use of the word fetish.
It was a different time.
Is it like a gay equals happy type situation here?
Kind of weird comparison, but yeah, I mean, it's an adequate comparison, but yeah, I guess so. It's probably the same principle.
All right, I'm just saying, like like I won't go into it, but that is not how you use the word fetish.
Yeah. Anyway, so the point is, it's like a sticking point with her. Like, she's it's a thing we do.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. So Ralph.
So one of the things about this scene is that I love how the audience is so on edge. Like, let's talk about setup and payoff here for a minute, Dragon.
Sure.
Because this mousetrap thing is a brilliant setup and payoff.
The audience is so in tune with it.
Oh, I know. And that's the thing. I forgot to mention this up top, but I love how the audience is cheering for all the characters as they walk in and everything. It's a very lively audience on this show.
Yeah.
And of course, that's kind of building to the big thing we do with the audience at the end of the episode.
Certainly.
But yeah, as you said, the audience is just so into oh my god, who's gonna get mouse trapped?
So Ralph is very proud of his gift, and let's see. So very proud of his gift, and he goes to the icebox.
Gordon goes to the icebox.
Right. And he basically, because he wants to pull a fast one on Norton here. So Norton, he goes to grab the gift, and initially pulls out the pan. And of course, Norton, he initially thinks the pan is the gift,
and he's genuinely impressed with it as a gift.
Yes, he thinks it's a brilliant idea. He says, "Oh yeah, I get it because it's something absolutely something. Oh, that's a beauty."
and of course, Norton is so Barney Rubble-esque, obviously.
Certainly. So then Ralph goes to get not that Norton. He goes to get him. Of course, the trap gets him, and says, "Oh, I get it. The trap's a clever ruse." Great. So then Ralph unwraps the gift, which this to me was always a bit of a. I mean, we need it for the plot because we need to see what the gift is. I get it, but by the same token, from what we see later on, he doesn't rewrap it, so he just did all that wrapping for nothing. I thought he was going to wrap it again, but he didn't. Just okay, I'll show you what it is. Unwraps it, and just I'll give it to her as is. Well, that defeats the point, but okay.
I hear you.
So let's see. So he reveals now. Tiki, what's the gift in question? What's our big kind of what's our big kind of Red Rider? What's our big gift?
It's a box to keep hairpins in.
Yes, but not just any box. Again,
glued together. It was made in Japan, and it was owned by the Emperor of Japan himself.
Japanese hairpin box, folks. Place your orders now for QVC.
Oh my god, yes. Japanese hairpin boxes and
Napoleon OJ squeezers.
Yep.
All
Oh
right,
my
let's
god.
see. So yeah, so here's the thing that I love though, and Gleason just he communicates this so well. It's a funny idea, but he sells it because you get again, I like there's that sliver of emotion underneath it all there, where he's really genuinely proud of this, and he feels like he got her something a one of a kind item. He feels very proud about it. Oh, she's gonna love this little hairpin box. It's useful, and it's like 1,000 matches made in Japan and for Japan. All of it's great. One of a kind, of course, and I love the audience is so ahead of it because they know he's been scammed. That's why they're laughing at it because they know exactly he's been scammed. So I can't wait to see her face, and Norton can't wait to see the Emperor. Oh, I bet the can't wait to see the Emperor's face, and realizes it's gone.
All right. So Norton's kind of pushing to, he really wants Ralph to give Alice the gift early.
Which tracks with like he gave his wife her gift early too, so it makes sense
Uh-huh.
that he would kind of suggest that to Ralph. And
But
Ralph's
then
like, I'm good.
meanwhile, Mrs. Stevens stopped by with the plot dragon. Mrs.
Yes,
Stevens has the plot in tow.
yeah. So just as it's like Ralph.
It's like she pretty much pulls the word conflict out of her purse.
Essentially, so just right as Ralph is like, you know what, Norton, you're right. I'm gonna give it to her today.
Now, is Mrs. Stevens a reoccurring character? Because that's the thing with some of these shows we do. Like, I never know if the characters that pop up are like one-offs or reoccurring characters.
Well, here's the thing: they have like a lot of like other neighbors within the building, and I wouldn't be. I don't know. She might is entirely possible she could be a one-off.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe
Uncle Leo is reoccurring.
by the same token, Tiki, it entirely could be one-off. But I mean, some characters, even like the neighbor here, she could have been maybe in 2 or 3 episodes in total. I'm not sure.
Okay, right.
It's entirely possible, but most likely a one-off.
Okay.
Let's see, because I have Lucy who do it all the time. We're like, oh yeah, look, there's a neighbor that we never see again.
That's true. You're right.
Yeah, Abbott and Costello, there's tons of those examples. So anyway, unless you're Sydney Fields, because then literally it's Sydney Fields but in a different wig each week. All right, let's see. So again, like Ralph's all glowing, and of course, hey Alice, come in here, honey. And of course, right before he does that, Miss Stevens comes in, and she wants to exchange her gifts early because she's leaving as she's going out of town. So
her gift is
so well before she gets her gifts, like here's the thing, Tiki. You look at Jackie Gleason in the scene, it's hilarious because and the audience is a little bit ahead of it, just a little bit. Like they're getting a sense of some points about that more. A kitchen thermometer, how nice, because you got Miss Stevens, a kitchen thermometer is what needed, and then Jackie Gleason's looking, oh, that's so nice. The minute she leaves, I'm gonna blow my wife away with this gift. And then this, oh, here you go. Here you go, Alice. Oh, thank you, Miss Stevens. And of course, opens it up. It's a hairpin box, and then Gleason's reaction is perfect, where his eyes go so wide, and you have like the humana. Says, "Oh, what do you think?" Ralph is gibberish, and
Mrs. Stevens is like describing the box in exactly the same way that he just described it to Norton.
And also, there's kind of a fun insult.
Minus the Emperor of Japan bits. Importantly, that gets left out.
What's funny too, she says like the idea is that she paid far less than he did for it.
God. I didn't even catch that. That's great.
Well, she says like, oh, it's like a little something, implying that she didn't pay a lot for it. So that that Ralph just like roughly spent like what at that time was like roughly like $22 to $22, which of course was like let's say maybe like in the range of $50 or $60. I don't know. And the point is, it was a lot. So it was, it's like a week's pay, most likely back in the 50s. I'm not totally sure. Anyway, so Ralph is like he doesn't know what to do. Ed puts it together slowly, and it's great. And I just loved. I have, and this is the sweet spot of the Honeymooners for me. I have such a swell of pity. Yet I'm laughing at Ralph's
You're right. Yeah, they do. You know what it feels like to me? It's almost Archie Bunker-esque.
Exactly. It's a less
where you like to see Archie get his comeuppance, but at the same time, that when he does, it's kind of like, but he's Archie.
Yeah, it's like a less warranted. I'm gonna say, I'm trying to find the words here, folks. It's like maybe not warranted, because Archie kind of is a character who needs a comeuppance, but by the same token, you like the guy. And in this case, like Ralph's character, it's like you don't want something bad to happen to Ralph here. By the same token, it's like, oh, poor Ralph, but it's poor schlub, and you love him.
Mm-hmm.
it's in the same wheelhouse. I get what you're saying. So after that, so essentially that's one of our act breaks right there. So oh wait. So
No, I'm pretty sure that's the act break, and then we cut back to Ed in the tree.
yes. So again, we're utilizing our stationary location very well. Ralph is stunned. Well, basically, Ralph stews. Ralph stews as Ed blissfully decorates. Singing la 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 la. He's just tossing the tinsel all over the thing. Just cut it out.
Comedy from Mark Carney as well, I must say.
Yeah.
All right. And then Ed saying, "Oh, cheer up. Compared to you, Scrooge is a regular holiday playboy."
Yeah.
So, Dragon, I guess let's address it right now. Like, it's kind of thin, but since he's called a Scrooge, I guess we kind of have to count Ralph as the Scrooge.
Well, we do. He's the most simple. He quite possibly might be one of the most sympathetic Scrooges we've ever gotten.
Absolutely.
Like Ralph is not on the wrong
Scrooge in the episode, so it's like we kind of have to stick by the rule book in that one.
Yeah.
All right.
So, of course,
also one of the more understandable Scrooges. Like it's very, very understandable that he'd be in a bad mood.
Kind of the Walter White of Scrooges by that logic of he's a Scrooge, but I don't know. We're
gonna get a really good, really pathetic Scrooge next episode.
True.
Anyways,
right. Let's see. So, okay, so Ralph, he's bummed out that he was cheated because he's basically spelling out to Norton like, "Hey, I was cheated. Don't you get it? I botched the gift essentially." Because he needs money to get a last minute gift or last minute substitution of a gift, and he's asking Ed for money, and like everybody's broke. Basically he can't go to anybody. And Ralph's lamenting again. This is the sweetness of the character here. He's lamenting that he spent $22 selfishly on himself. Again, most sympathetic Scrooge ever, if he is a Scrooge.
Again, I hate to call him a Scrooge, but they, if we need a Scrooge for the episode, I think by the rule book, he has to be it because he's literally referred to as one.
He's a Scrooge in the sense of, and we've never had this with a Scrooge before, and this is why it's complicated, folks, is because he's a Scrooge with the best origin story ever. In that he was all happy and go lucky, then something happened. Now he's grumpy. So now we know what made him grumpy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we now basically it's like we kind of were so on board, like there's not like a character flaw or anything. It's just like now he's grumpy and we know exactly why. We don't blame him. So Ralph, he laments you spend the $22 selfishly on himself for a bowling ball. And again, it's like understand he just bought a bowling ball, he knows it's gonna happen. He had money set aside, he wasn't like, foolish or anything. He didn't do anything bad. But by the same token, it's like, oh man, poor. I just love that he just instantly again, this is the sad quality that Gleason's perpetuate on screen of like, he's such a working class guy, and again, if something goes wrong, he's putting that on himself, because he kind of has to, and it's sweet that he feels guilty for that.
Mm-hmm.
So, Ed, Tiki, what's Ed Norton's solution?
Okay, I'm not going to be able to do this justice, but he's basically just like, oh, what you want to do is you want to get some labels, and you want to put "do not open till after Christmas." And that way, when she goes to open her present tomorrow, she can say, "Oh my God, I can't open it tomorrow," and she'll have to wait a whole year. And you can get her another present in the meantime.
You just gotta get her to sleep all day.
You're a riot, Ed. A regular riot.
You're a riot, Norton.
Which, honestly, that might be the most Fred Flintstone delivery. All right, so then Uncle Leo enters, everyone's most beloved side character, Uncle Leo.
Not the one from Seinfeld, different Uncle Leo. Seriously, there is an Uncle Leo from Seinfeld in every sense the word's like, recurring. That one's a recurring Uncle Leo. Like, Uncle Leo, hello, Jerry. So anyway, so this Uncle Leo, he's a nice guy. He stops by and he gives Ralph a gift certificate for a Wallace's department store, $25, which of course is a big peep and help and a plot solution. Thanks, Uncle Leo. And of course,
Dragon, this is like the era where it's like $25 now. It's like kind of like
maybe $100.
I can buy like something. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna go out and have a night on the town.
Like $25. basically $25 now is like I can buy a movie or I can buy one item.
Right, yeah.
Versus then, where $25 is like it's like $100 gift certificate.
Pretty much 100, yeah. Like maybe even more than 100 with inflation.
I know that's the thing, folks. Just we're not mathematicians or money men on this. We're
not economists, Dragon. We're not like Ben Affleck in that awesome movie.
Unfortunately.
Wait, no. Am I thinking of?
What do you think of? You think of The Accountant?
Yes, I'm thinking of The Accountant. I'm sorry. For a second, I thought that movie was called The Economist.
No, it's The Accountant.
My bad.
Anyway, the point is, folks, we're not money men.
Point still stands. Ben Affleck would be really good at this shit.
I would like some Wall Street suspenders, though. That would be nice. Anyway, so some Michael Douglas suspenders. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm fantasizing about suspenders right now. So, Ed's question. Won't you notice? Basically, we have the question here. Won't you notice that Leo didn't get her anything for Christmas? And then again, like Ralph here, Ralph's thinking on his feet. So again, in crisis, Ralph actually is a guy to go to here. Ralph's plan is to borrow $25 at work. When he goes to work after Christmas, and basically, it slipped my mind that Leo came by and he gave us this. I forgot. He basically used the $25 to get a gift certificate and say, "Oh yeah, he gave this to us. I just forgot to give it to you." Mm-hmm. Again, seems like the episode's over, right? So before he leaves to go, they rush to the department store. Alice walks in.
This was a brilliant bit of writing, Dragon.
It is. It's great. Tell what happens. Tell what happens.
You'll never guess who I ran into.
And then Ralph, he
just has the most defeated look on his face. He's just like, "Oh, I know who you ran into.
Uncle Leo." And of course, he just assumes Uncle Leo and gives it away. And then, of course, she says, and he gave us a 20, basically gives her the gift, said, "Look what Uncle Leo got us, $25 gift certificate to Wallace's department store." Oh, that's like.
She kind of brushes off. She's like, "Oh, that's nice. How thoughtful." But I ran into Tommy Mullins.
I mean, it's darn the luck. He just gave away all of his footing and all of his.
Tommy Mullins.
Darn you, Tommy Mullins. And I thought. Basically, the whole Tommy Mullins at all. Well, he has a great line after this. Basically, it says, "I thought you were going out." "Oh, it's too cold out." 300, and then of course Ralph's great line after Alice leaves the frame here is 365 days a year, and that Mullins kid has to come home from the Navy. All the days he has to bump into my wife. It's today. So, again, Ralph is viewing this as it's his own fault, which leads him to get a really nice, selfless idea here, where he's going to hawk his bowling.
Very nice, selfish idea.
Selfless, Tiki.
Sorry, my bad.
But yes, it's a wondrous idea. It's a really yes.
A wondrous, thoughtful. I'm sorry, I'm trying to do a Grinch thing here, but I'm failing.
Then you got an idea. A wondrous, wonderful, seasonally splendid idea.
That was a little better. Anyways.
So, sorry, folks, we're not Boris Karloff. Then again, Boris Karloff never really energized that line, so it's gonna get what you pay for. So,
hey, don't you dare trash on Karloff.
I'm saying we're doing something we never asked for from Karloff before. We're trying to invent elements here, man.
All right.
Anyway, nothing against Karloff. I got nothing but love for Karloff, man.
Well, I would hope not.
Anyway, so let's see. So just remember.
We're kind of beating around the bush with this here.
Right. Okay, so basically the idea here is like, Ralph saying, "Okay, I'm going to hawk my bowling ball, and just remember, that's a good idea, Ralph." Just remember, when it comes to emergency, go to me, get me. He says, when they made me, they threw away the molds. Yeah, probably because you broke it. Then we're in Act 3, big Act 3, folks. Tiki, start us off in Act 3 here. It's Christmas morning.
Christmas morning, Ralph comes out, compliments his mother-in-law's taste in pajamas. He's wearing a fancy new pair of pajamas.
Yeah.
Let's see. He's really egging on Alice to get to the presents, but the eggs will get cold. So what? It's Christmas.
That's a delightful line from Ralph Crandon here. Says, "So what? It's Christmas." Like, yeah, so the eggs will get cold. It's Christmas.
And they exchange gifts. He tears open, and Dragon, by the way, I saw this coming a mile away.
And again, I think the audience is kind of putting it together too.
So he tears open his present to find a bowling ball bag. So essentially what we have here, folks, is what we at Christmas in July like to call, are you ready for this, Dragon?
Yeah.
A half magi.
I don't think we've ever used that before.
Half magi.
Oh god, I think it's brilliant, Tiki. A half match. I'm sorry, folks. Our love of Breaking Bad is cracking me up on this.
I don't even know what it has to do with Breaking Bad. I'm just
what
talking
do you mean what has to do with half measure, half magi?
Oh, I wasn't even thinking about the half measures thing, Dragon. I hate to disappoint you here. But no, I just think half magi, you know, it's like half of the gift of the magi situation. Like at least Alice didn't have to hawk something of hers to get her gift, you know.
Well, that is accurate.
Alice comes out ahead in this whole thing.
Yeah, you're right. That is quite clever. I'm proud of you for that one.
Yeah.
One could say, proud of my boy.
All right.
Okay, anyway, seriously, get back on point here. So, yes, so again, he gets a bowling ball bag, and again, that reaction from Gleason, there's a, he says the bowling ball bag, and it's such a gift to the Magi homage.
It's just what I wanted, sweetheart.
So she wants him to put the ball in it to make sure it fits, of course, as you would do with any gift. So Ralph tries like, no, but all the balls are the same size. Of course, he's just kind of pushing the cord. Then we have the heart on the sleeves moment here, folks, and it's beautiful. It's wondrous. It's so in the holiday spirit. Ralph comes clean. You have the holiday truth moment here, another trope. Okay. So we have this, and here's where we get the lovable sad sack, heart of it from Gleason's life here. And this is like, again, when things are like all pressing down, you just where the heart really comes out here, where we have this great dramatic performance with these comedic beats in it. But it's a wonderful dramatic performance here, where he's just saying, essentially he basically opens up and he basically says, okay, well, Alice, you say I got you a gift, and then that gift, Miss Stevens got you the same gift. So he mentions that he lost the $22 he spent on a bowling ball, so he hawked the bowling ball to buy her a new gift at the last minute. I love that Audrey, they played this so smart, Tiki. They didn't have her say a word, and we, the audience, can project our feelings onto her and just kind of and realize how sweet a notion this is, basically be in her shoes during this side of the scene here, where just open your gift. She opens her gift, and what's the gift, Tiki?
The gift is a Napoleon orange squeezer.
You put. And again, I love how we don't see it.
That's what I like to call a payoff, folks.
It's so great. We don't see this thing, but we, the audience, put it.
No, you're right. You're right. We don't. It's like the delightful, pleasant version of Gwyneth Paltrow's head.
Yeah. Well, maybe not my go-to example, but sure. So basically, I love this. Like he just teases, and basically, this is like for anyone who's paid attention to in Act One, they fully get it here. It's so great, circular storytelling here. It's just, you see, you put the orange on the head, and then the orange juice, and of course, you hear the laughter overcome the scene here when you put it together. Like, oh my god, the same gift that Ed Norton got his wife. And again, this makes Alice so great here when she says she's so sweet and says that she loves it. Oh, I love it, because again, she thinks it's ridiculous, but she heard the heartfelt sentiment of what he went through to get her this gift. So she's being such a beautiful wife here. It's great. And then Gleason brings it home, man, with a speech of one of the end all be all Christmas speeches here. Do you have it?
I don't have it like word for word.
Sure. Well, what do you got?
I can paraphrase it.
Paraphrase it. What do you got?
All right. Alice, Christmas is about the best time of the whole year. You walk down the streets weeks before Christmas comes, and there's lights. Sometimes there's snow, and they don't hustle like they usually do. People bump into you, and they stop, and they laugh, and they say, "Pardon me, Merry Christmas." And then this is where it starts to get really beautiful, Dragon. And when it gets real close to Christmas night, and you're walking home, no one's out, the snow's falling, and you just think to yourself, what a pleasure to know that you've got a place to go to, and you've got someone waiting for you who you love in that place. My God, Dragon, that might be one of the most heartwarming things we've ever seen in Christmas in July. It really might be.
I think the end of that goes
so hard on sleeve, but it's great.
I think the end of it like even gets even better to you. I think at the end of it, it's like it's just you get places you're going to someone you love who you're nuts about. Merry Christmas, and they kiss, and as they they kiss, like a lot of times they do in honeymooners. The curtains start to close, and then Gleason mid stride because I get a sense I would bet you all King Midas is silver on this, Tiki. I bet you. Gleason, well, he's giving her like the kissing pose where he brings her in close and he's probably whispering to her, "Wait, hold on, I'm going to do something here." So then, mid stride, he turns around and he stops the curtain. Like he basically uses his arm to block the curtain. It says, "Ah," and he breaks the fourth wall. And this is something that was, from what I understand, was never done on any of the episodes of the Honeymooners. You always warm up the crowd before and after the show, but you never do it as the curtain closes.
Sure,
Like,
sure.
they do their bows, but like you never do like this. So basically, he breaks the fourth wall during the taping. And Jackie Gleason, not Ralph Cranner, Jackie Gleason, he thanks the audience, he stops the curtain, and he basically steps out of character to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. He brings out the rest of the honeymooners, he brings out all these other three castmates. And let's bring out those Nortons, and he brings them out, and they're all taking a bow, and then they're all like gathering basically for the image we have before us here, folks, and they're wishing everybody a Merry Christmas, and it's delightful, and that's the end.
All right, yeah, there we go, folks. Okay, Dragon, quick final thoughts before we get into the tropes, I guess?
Sure, yes.
What do you got?
Well, this to me, it's a simple yet classic, it's simple yet classic holiday problem. It's like, oh boy, it's the someone else got my gift, so I got to get something new. It's a classic situation. It's kind of a fun take on a gift of the Magi situation, and I love that under all of that, under all the classic, TV comedy, there's a genuine and honest heart to it all. Gleason, he put heart, soul, and strife into the show, and it's a part of his DNA. Again, Gleason, he lives this show. At least his early life is reflective of this show. And again, he just kind of, you can see like a guy who is so into the production. Like you get it's kind of all in one man. It kind of bleeds. You sense it like radiation coming off of him in the show, and it communicates this really nice holiday moral here, where it's like life can be a mess, but it can also be funny, and perspective is the key. And I think perspective seen through the audience. And I think that really is what kind of translates through the episode, where if you're in Ralph's shoes, things aren't going to look that funny in the moment. But if you're in, if you're in Alice's shoes, things might look funny. If you're in the audience's shoes, everything's going to look funny. But again, hopefully you'll be able to pick up on all this. Again, if you're like just an outsider looking into this. So again, I think it's a great Christmas special. It's not it's nothing super impressive, but I think it's more heart over head on this one. It's like this one just feels in tune with the holiday spirit. The end fourth wall break definitely kind of hammers that in a good way. It's like something. It's like nowadays we'd probably roll our eyes at, but you know what? It's really nice and old school. It's really nice. Like, hey, folks, we appreciate you, the audience, and we appreciate our actors here. We just want to, it's a Christmas episode. So we want to send everybody out on a good note. And I'm enamored by the heart of this. So I really like this one.
Yeah, Dragon, this was a great episode to start with. I think it's very much in the spirit of us starting with I Love Lucy that one year. Or I don't know if we might have started with it. I Love Lucy was really early on that year. I digress. This is it's such a hard on sleeve Christmas special in a good way for me, because it's classic comfort food. Like, that's the best way I can describe it. I've never seen a damn episode of this show in my life, and yet I was like completely at home with it. I mean, that's probably because of the Flintstones element of it all. I must admit, these people are kind of like avatars for characters that I'm much more familiar with. But I digress. It's just a very, very nice slice of Americana. And honestly, Dragon, after this, I kind of wouldn't just start binging the show.
It's good taste, though. If you want to binge that show, you won't be disappointed. So, yes, Tiki, like Ralph Cramden throughout this special, let's peek beneath the wrapping paper. Let's give the folks a little tease.
Yeah, sure, folks. So, coming up, we're going to get a dramatic tonal whiplash, because we've gone from the nice, humble, like no cynicism at all. And after that, we're doing Rick and Morty.
Yep.
I mean, it's just like the most dramatic, 180.
We're going from a nice fourth wall break to a Jurassic Park parody.
Yeah, we're doing Anatomy Park, which this is an episode that I absolutely forgot was a Christmas episode until Dragon brought it up to me. So it definitely fits the bill where every year we like to do at least one episode that kind of skirts the line between being a Christmas special, and I feel like this is a good one.
And of course, to be fair, Christmas in July is a concept that's kind of skirting the Christmas line, so it's a no-brainer in that respect. So, okay, I guess let's recap our tropes here, Tiki. So, give the folks kind of some parting holiday thoughts here. Let's go through our tropes real quick.
Honestly, Dragon, there's a lot of them in this one.
Let's just let's bullet point lightning round it here. Let's list a few. So, of course, let's see. Gift of the Magi.
Gift of the Magi. I'm trying to be chronological here. Wrapping gifts, hiding gifts, neighbor dropping by and asking about the gifts, traditions, Christmas carols. Of course, the Red Rocket, the Red Ryder BB gun kind of coveted present. The oddball present with the Napoleon orange squeezer.
Let's see. We have the gift certificate. We have relatives dropping by for the holiday.
Let me see.
Christmas morning. We have Christmas morning.
Of course.
We have Christmas breakfast.
Oh God, Walter Jr. perks up.
Yes. And here's one just to kind of keep track of. We have kind of, and again, this show isn't like the only one to ever do this, but fourth wall Christmas wishes. So we gotta have that. That's a big one we haven't had in a while, at least.
Of course, Ralph is our most sympathetic Scrooge ever.
Yes, he's very he's kind of the Walter White of
trimming the tree.
Certainly, tinsel, a lot of tinsel. And I think that sounds about right. All right, but Tiki's talking about these tropes. There's one last thing I gotta get off my chest here. After 5 seasons, it still baffles me that we haven't come up with this. Tiki, how have we not done this? How have we not come up with a simple term? Tiki, if only we had a term to describe what we do when we kind of do what we just did right now. You know what I mean? If we just go through all these tropes and say, we've seen this in holiday specials, we've seen this in in Christmas movies, we've seen this all over the place. It's kind of like Christmas 101. It's like somewhat of a scientific process of us. It's like listing these and seeing the science behind a Christmas special. If only there was like something that sounded pseudo-scientific, but also holiday and seasonal and filled with holiday cheer. But Tiki, I throw my hands up in the air right now. I got nothing. After 5 seasons.
I think I have it.
You do?
Yeah. It's not like we haven't been saying it for 4 seasons or anything, but to not ruin the magic, it's putting the mistletoe underneath the microscope. Next time on Christmas in July.
Napoleon orange juice squeezers. Get one now.
You're a riot, Norton. A real riot.